The year is 1918. The soil of Europe is soaked in blood. A war that had raged for 4 years had already changed the course of human history forever. But in the final chapter of that war, a battle was fought that remains the largest and bloodiest campaign in American military history. Its name was the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. Over the course of 47 days, nearly 1.2 million American soldiers took part in the operation. More than 26,000 U.S. troops lost their lives in this single campaign alone. In today's video, we'll explore how this battle began, why it was so important, and how it helped bring World War I to an end. By late 1918, world arriving in Europe in 1917. By 1918, the American Expeditionary Forces, AEF, had been formed under the command of General John J. Pershing. French and British commanders wanted American troops to be distributed among their own units. However, Pershing stood firm. American soldiers would fight under American command as an independent force. That decision ultimately led to the creation of a battle plan that would leave a permanent mark on history. The Allied strategy was to launch coordinated attacks across multiple fronts, weakening German forces everywhere at once. As part of this grand offensive, American forces were tasked with capturing the area between the Meuse River and the Argonne Forest. But this region was a natural fortress. Dense forests, rugged hills, deep ravines, and rivers made it ideal for defensive warfare. The Germans had occupied the area for 4 years. During that time, they built extensive defensive networks consisting of barbed wire, machine gun nests, concrete bunkers, and interconnected tunnel systems. These defenses formed part of the formidable Hindenburg Line. For the American soldiers, it was a terrifying challenge, an assault through terrain where the enemy was prepared to strike from every corner. At dawn on September 26, 1918, the massive offensive began. The attack opened with nearly 3 hours of intense artillery bombardment. Approximately 4 million artillery shells were fired, an unprecedented number in American military history. Then the infantry advanced. On the first day, American forces achieved some progress, but it quickly became clear that this would be one of the toughest tests they had ever faced. Dense fog, mud, and thick forests disrupted communications. Soldiers became disoriented and lost their way. German machine guns and artillery continued to unleash relentless fire. Within the first few days, thousands of American troops became casualties. Many of the units were inexperienced and had little exposure to the harsh realities of modern warfare. One of the most famous episodes of the campaign became known as the Lost Battalion, led by Major Charles Whittlesey. Around 500 to 600 American soldiers pushed deep into the Argonne Forest. However, supporting units failed to keep pace, leaving them completely surrounded by German forces. For nearly 5 days, without adequate food, water, or medical support, they found 25 German soldiers and captured 132 more. For his actions, York received the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States. After the war, he became one of America's most celebrated war heroes. Throughout October, the fighting continued at a brutal pace. American forces slowly broke through German defensive positions. Every hill, every village, and every strongpoint came at a tremendous cost. In early November, American troops launched a massive, coordinated assault that dealt a decisive blow to German defenses. German forces were forced to retreat, and their supply lines became critically disrupted. Then, on November 11, 1918, at 11 a.m., the armistice was declared. World War I officially came to an end. The Meuse-Argonne Offensive remains the largest and bloodiest campaign in American military history. Nearly 1.2 million soldiers participated in the 47-day operation, and more than 26,000 American troops were killed, the highest number of U.S. combat deaths in a single campaign. Yet, the cost of victory was staggering. Thousands of young soldiers lost their lives, many of whom never knew that the end of the war was only days away. Today we've explored the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, the largest and bloodiest battle fought by American forces during World War I. This was more than just a military operation. It was a story of sacrifice, determination, and extraordinary courage from an entire generation. This was more than just a military operation. It was a story of sacrifice, determination, and extraordinary courage from an entire generation. What are your thoughts on this historic battle? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy history content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from the past.